Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, Chris, Stacy, and I are going to get into Lovecraft Country, Season 1, Episode 9. Very powerful episode, especially after the Emmett Till episode from last week. But Stacy said this was her favorite episode. I was like, please tell us why.
I think it was just like the cinematography, the storytelling, how they kind of drew things together because Montrose was talking about the guy with the bat, the Jackie Robinson guy that saved them. And then Tick also had that experience with the alien and the monster where Jackie Robinson came and saved him with the bat.
Yes.
So I just like the way they put everything together. It was sad watching the house burn with grandma in it, but Letty got the book to save Diana. And we see Hippolyta comes back like she never was gone. Like she just shows up after 200 years on another planet. Like, oh, why y'all let my baby get sick? Like, where have you been? And it was like, okay. So they go save Diana, which was cool. And then Hippolyta has blue hair. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but guess we'll find out.
Orphea Blue, because like the comic character.
I'm not a comic person, so I don't know.
No, Diana's comic. Diana's comic, right?
Yeah, that Dee drew.
Oh.
Yeah, but she based the superhero based off her own mother.
Ah. Yeah. So she became the hero. I mean, as of sorts. As like,
yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I thought her hair was purple, but all right. But anyway, she got a new hairdo either way.
And I told you computers did exist back then. I told you.
You kiss my ass. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay, because Letty was like, "What the hell are you talking about? This woman spent 200 years."
What's a motherboard?
And she was like, "I am the motherboard." Like, stop it. No. So
I thought they were going to go with. I thought they were going to go a step further with the whole like George Clooney, like, and we bringing the mother shit. Hey, make my look the people. I didn't know where. I didn't know they were going to go straight Parliament with it. What, for some reason I don't know.
You were ready for it. Lovecraft Country would do it, and
hell, they did Cardi B. They did 2 Cardi B songs in an episode. They get Rihanna's bitch. Bitch better have my money. I was ready for some P-Funk, Parliament, some Bootsy Collins, something. In this, you know what I mean?
I too was like, Hippolyta, how in the hell did you get back to Chicago? Like, that's my question. First, we'll figure out like where you've been, but how did you get here? Because apparently we still got to get into the car and drive back to Kentucky. It was going to take a couple hours. So what? Like, are you a teleporter now? Like, I mean, we need, on this 2-hour drive, we need to have a conversation. Like, how did you get here? Where have you been? What did you learn? You know what I'm saying? Like, these things need to be talked about. Like, and like none of that. They ain't got time for none of that shit. I was like, no, you need to give me 5-10 minutes in that car, okay, with some meaningful conversation.
I mean, hell, we still don't even know how Gia even came down and was.
Like, where is Gia?
Don't give me.
She's still outside waiting in the rain. Just upset, like.
She with no bags whatsoever, like no clothes or nothing. She just sitting out there waiting for her moment. So I went back and watched that episode, and her vision, we're gonna skip forward, but her vision of Tick, her last 2 visions of Tick was him getting baptized, which is happening in the next episode, and immediately after that, he's dead. So I'm like,
I was thinking like maybe we'll see him bang another chick.
No, man, no, that's gonna be next season. But I feel like Gia's coming back. Now, I know that we're really getting off to episode 10. I'm just saying she has many bodies in the darkness to get into. Like that witch one was like, you have not made your one with the darkness yet, and you have a lot more bodies before your journey is over. So
if there is going to be a season 2.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm saying they may knock it out in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Like next episode, I think. But anyway, let's get. I really want to get into this episode. I'm sorry, we are skipping ahead. The setting of the Tulsa Massacre being the setting for this like episode was a lot. Like it was really powerful to see that to see it through Montrose's eyes, because it wasn't history to him. Like this was his life. Like he had to watch it happen again. I mean, to the point that he had to watch his first lover, I guess, or the first love of his life die again, and to go through that. I mean, and like his first memories is like my dad beating me because he found me with a flower in my head, and that stuff, like that had to be a lot, to for him to kind of process.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
I mean, I didn't even think it was a good idea. I mean, I knew he had to go because he's the only one that knew where to locate the house. But he clearly, I mean, even decades later, you see how much of a drunk he's become. He's clearly not in the right state to relive something like that. You know what I mean? Um, that's why I was like, oh shit, he's coming with y'all. Oh shit, like I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, can't he just write some directions? Like when you
right.
go, just make a left off of Bridge Street or whatever. Something. Oh, he coming with y'all. Oh, y'all gonna be screwed. And
Yeah.
then when he disappeared, I was like, I knew it. I knew it. Like he's doing some Marty McFly shit right now. Gonna try to change something. Even though Doc warned him not to. You know.
It's funny. It's funny you should bring up Back to the Future, because I was like, this is like the classic. Like the time machine's broke. We got to fix it. It's like, come on, guys, let's get together. Like so, like Hippolyta was Doc trying to fix it, right?
Got
But
the
they
hair
did.
out and everything like Doc.
Yeah. She had the hair
People
thing and everything too.
thought she was
Like,
crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Earth 504, girl. What? Like,
that's what the car ride was for. Let's have a fucking conversation about multiple Earths and shit. Like this is conversations that we need to be having. So then at the time machine going, what in the world's going through your mouth, woman? Anyway, I thought Montrose was gonna be the man with the bat. Like I thought that was what he was about to do. Like it's all connected, right? Like I thought the man like saved, the stranger saved him, and like he dies there because Montrose may be thinking, what do I have left? You know what I'm saying? Like like I don't my not son, which I told you was like hey, like George is your daddy. So so that.
well, no. So, but you know what he said? He said he might be.
Possible.
He said possible. See, first of all, let me correct something you said. No one ever denied anything. So when you keep saying you do this every episode, you just like I told you as if like you had any doubters for one.
All right. So we're all saying,
but two, they haven't confirmed anything. It's just saying it's possible. Saying it's possible. That's all they're saying. You know what I mean?
This ain't Maury Povich, Chris.
But it don't matter. But go ahead. But I'm sorry. Go.
All right,
go.
you're right. My bad. All right. So we will say that it's possible that George
next
is
episode he what I told you to watch Stacey. Watch.
I'm gonna let it go, man. I'm gonna let it go. So until Maury comes out with the paperwork, and Montrose is running around the damn studio talking about I hate the daddy. All right, then we're gonna.
Then he'll say he told you, again, we did never, nobody doubted him.
All right. I feel like you're doubting it though. So anyway, but I feel like anyway, we're getting off track. The point is, this is the last straw, like between him and his may or may not be daddy. That he's like, why did I take these ass whoopings for all these years? Because I thought you were my dad, and in the end, you ain't even that. He's like, shit, like I don't need you. Like, why are you even? And that's. But then at the end though, he's like, look here, Pop. If this doesn't happen, I don't exist, right? Like we need this thing to continue. Like at some level, he's like, I accept the fact that for better or worse, you raised me. I'm your son, you know what I'm saying? And we got to get through this. So I thought, and it also shows that it's all connected. Like all this stuff already happened. There is no changing the future because it's already happened. If much like Terminator, if Diana did not get sick, and therefore Hippolyta had no reason to be like, we have to go back to the past to save my daughter. Tick wouldn't even exist because they all would have died. They all would have died in Oklahoma. They had to go back to even for him even to be born. Like it all is connected.
It just, I mean, that's if I only had one gripe about the episode, because that's really the only gripe I had. It's just the whole in almost every movie and show falls into this when they do time travel. Tenet did this.
Yes.
Like you said,
12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys did this.
Everybody does it. Like in this thing, like the moment he said there was a mysterious stranger, that I was like, damn it, it's going to be like one of them, isn't it? Like, and I was afraid. I was like, please don't do that, because then you go with the whole chicken and the egg thing, but then it's like even worse in the sense of like, okay, if you're telling me this doesn't happen because Tick isn't born, but wouldn't Tick have to whoop their ass, the white boys' asses, in order for y'all to live, for Tick to be born in the first place? So how would it make sense that Tick is the mysterious stranger that had the bat? If he never existed, they would have died anyway. So therefore, Tick would have never existed to be able to go back in the past. But you know the funny thing, every time time travel movie does this. I usually have to just roll my eyes and just be like, just go with it, because hell, like I said, Tenet did it, and I was like, God damn it! I was like, if you did the whole, like you said, the whole and I thought they were going to go with this, the whole multiverse thing or whatever, which I think is BS. I know people say, oh, Avengers, and I think Avengers is BS because here's the deal: no matter what Thanos did, what happened with Thanos still happened.
Yes.
All y'all did was go into a different version, but now you left an area that now has no Black Widow and Captain America. You just left them, and now they're screwed still. So I don't, I get it. It's time travel, and what the hell do us in Hollywood know about that? So, but at the same time, it's something that I can't help, but it just pops in my head. So with the whole that bat thing came, I was like, fuck. And he said, I got you, boy. I'm like, God damn it.
Stacey, Stacey, I'm sorry, Stacey. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Well, I think it goes back to the parallel universes. Like if he had never been born, then there's a split where different things happen. And if he had been born, there's a split where different things happen. And if he dies again, it'll split and then something else will happen. So that's how it's kind of explained scientifically. That's why we have so many Earths. Apparently there's at least 504 of them. So, choose your own adventure.
Oh, I used to love those books. But I too got the Infinity War vibe. Like straight when they were like, we gotta go back and find the book. I was like, this is what we doing? Because you watch Marvel, huh? It worked for them. So let's just try with it. I was like, stop it, man. I was like, this, and the book existed way before like 1920, way before the massacre. Like, I'm like, why did it have to be the massacre day? And
because
so
that's because Montrose, that's the because of him, that's the last where he remembers seeing it. So if they go before that, they won't know where the hell the book is.
But he didn't see the book because he didn't know where the book was. He just generally knew it was in the house. Because if he knew where it was, he would have said, hey guys, let's go in the daytime, bust into my family's house, go into the wall, get the book, and get up out of there. He just generally knew it was in the house, but he didn't know the secret compartment. Like they didn't have to go back to like massacre day. Like, and then she tried to use his picture. She said, well, give me a picture so I can concentrate. But was that picture taken on the massacre day? Like, I don't remember them taking it.
I mean, I took it because that was prom day. That's why they took the pictures. It was like, it was supposed to be their prom. And then that got canceled. You know what I mean? So
they in fact did take the picture that day. They
took a picture that day, and just like you do right before prom, before you go to prom, and then they found out that prom was canceled.
I thought I was taking that prom, but okay, I got you. Never mind. So I go with that. It was I thought it was also the book can burn. The book did burn. Like I mean in original history, right? So this whole thing that Letty was like, I'm protected, so I'll just hold the book and have this house burn around me doesn't make any damn sense. Like that book would have burned up.
If you remember the bullet, so it didn't. The thing, even with the bullets, is not that it just doesn't penetrate the skin. It doesn't touch her at all. So like if you notice, if you look at the previous episode, it didn't even touch her clothes. So at the same time, I would imagine like there was like somewhat of a the way it explains in the book, the book version.
Okay.
That there is a slight force field. So I would imagine if she held that book close to her, that book is within that force field. You know what I mean? It's not what you think as far as her being like Superman and it's the skin type protection. No, it is an actual protective barrier. You know what I mean?
Makes sense because her clothes would burn and everything.
And I was like, what? Well, it ain't
her hair would burn.
It burned her, and there's no holes in her shirt from nothing. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, then in that case, she. Okay. I mean, if we really want to go down this road, we could have been like her, like
it's in the book, dude.
The great grandmama's hand would have been saved because she was holding it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's like
she let it go.
She let go. She let go.
And was burning.
Look at it again. Her hand only burned after she let go of it. Look at it again.
All right. So she could have held her. In theory, she could have saved that grandma.
I mean, that's a lot of.
But she had to die though.
Yeah,
you'd have to look like
for history, for everything to go right, to everything to go the way that I guess the way they put it, as far as Hippolytus says, as far as it to go, those people had to die. That's why literally she want like poor like Letty kept saying like, oh yeah, you'll be okay, and she didn't just say, how about y'all motherfuckers get out the house?
Right. I was just like, she could have just went in there and said, hey, they're gonna come burn the house down, run.
The only thing that has to happen is that Montrose or George, depending on who you would believe is his daddy, has to have sex with Dora. That's the only thing that has to happen. So Tick can be born.
About the butterfly effect, dude. Even if you
exactly
you move one person away, it doesn't matter. That's why even with the whole thing with Thomas, says that Thomas, he don't mean nothing or whatever, but he realized at the end that small person that really doesn't mean anything could potentially screw it up. Her saving her grandmother could have said, who knows? Maybe her grandmother's like, oh, I don't want you to be with that boy or whatever.
Yeah, she would have moved away. She would have taken the kids with her, and there would have never been no Tick.
Yep.
If we already got time travel,
David, focus.
I am focused. If we already got time travel,
that's why they didn't save anyone.
Okay, all right.
That's why they didn't even say just
they
random.
They could have let Thomas live, but
I don't know.
He has no thing. You know, George and
lady.
What you call it?
I know that was
Scarlet.
Yeah.
I no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't get me wrong. I don't know if I would have done the same thing. I don't know.
Absolutely not.
My emotions probably would have got the best of me. Maybe.
Yes. Like we would have.
But that's.
We were not. They were not there to save American history. They were not there to stop the massacre from happening. They were not there to make sure that the massacre happened. They were there to make sure they get the book and make sure Tick is still born. That's not that hard to achieve.
The only thing you can do that is to let everything play out the way it was supposed to.
Let them have sex and make sure they go. And be like, you can't stay
here.
Like, you gotta
go. To stay there for the next 30, 40 years to make sure that even with the grandma still being alive, to make sure that everything still goes. Is that what you're going to do? No, dude.
I'm saying you can. All right. I'm saying it was not necessarily sacrifice, falling and die. I disagree.
One small thing. One disturbance.
All right. You seriously. Okay, look. All right. They still changed history. The fact that they were even there changed history.
Sure.
Them walking around changed history. There's people who saw them. They were like, what the hell? They stole somebody's car. How do you not know that somebody probably died because originally they had a car and got away and some other fucking people died?
I know that wasn't their intent. Remember, their intent was to sneak in the house. They were
and then they wait, and then you wait. Why are they waiting till nighttime? They're like, nobody's gonna see us when we go in the night. Like, let's just go into the house. Like, they waited until the sun went down. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just go into this house. People are not ever gonna leave the house. Like, I know they wanted for the dramatic moment. I know they wanted the massacre to happen at night. I understand that. It didn't make a lot of damn sense. They sat there all day and waited for the sun to go down. I was like, we were on a clock. Like, we're seriously on the clock. Like, Diana is dying in the future. Like, this massacre is about to happen. We can speed this shit up and get this out of here. I'm just saying it could.
Oh, was Diana dying or was she turning into Topsy? See, which I had a feel. I knew it. I knew it was
What's up?
But no, I'm talking about the whole Topsy thing. Her turning into Topsy.
No, tell me what's going on. You said you knew she was going to turn into what she looked like.
Yeah. Remember, I made a comment like, like were they trying to catch her to turn her into it? So that was my theory.
That was pretty wild.
That's exactly
that was pretty wild. So what? Okay, so I want to get into Ruby and Christina.
Man,
I like
so lovesick, man.
I like the fact that Ruby in the end, she said, you know what, I'm doing something for me for once. Because Letty has a man, Letty has a baby. Letty spent her life running around just doing what the hell she wanted, and Ruby had to sit there and like had to be responsible. Now Letty's like, give up the one person that may or may not love you because she may be a threat to my family. And Ruby was like, no. Like, she was like, like, I believe Christina loves me. She's like, as long as you don't hurt my sister, fuck Tick. And I'm like,
Ruby's a hypocrite though. Ruby got this whole time. She's always been mad at her sister for like always thinking about herself. She's like, you're always thinking about yourself. You ain't thinking about mom or all this other stuff. And you ain't thinking about all this other crap. And this white boy comes along, puts it
white
in her,
woman.
Well, at the time it was a man, so I'm gonna keep saying man. So like this white boy comes along, puts it in them real good. She gets all caught up, all this other shit. And now that's where it is not that far different from the book. Like she could not get enough of the whole trying to get away from her pain and become a white person. I mean, hell, Christina even told her this last episode with the whole Emmett Till, like, you don't care either. Like, it's like, do you care about Emmett Till? No, but neither do you. Like, all this other shit, like, do you really care? Like, you don't give a shit about anything. You're only afraid about like what's going on what's inside of you. You know what I mean? And when she exposed that in that last episode, in this one, she's kind of went full blown and be like, you know, like, oh, are you going to sacrifice Tick or whatever? And she just didn't bat an eye. She was like, okay. She's like, well, just make sure my sister is all right or whatever. Which she ain't even seem like that all carefree for. She, you know what I mean? She just focused. Now she just focused on being a redhead.
Just go to the book. I like that. I like that. That was a good line. That was a good line. Stacey, what are your thoughts?
I actually like the fact that Ruby was being selfish for once. I think that in her mind, she sacrificed a lot. And she's like, oh, I finally found something I want for me. And if Tick dies, he dies. Like, it's supposed to happen anyway. I don't give a fuck. So, like, I just want to keep my stuff together. And I actually appreciated the fact that she was just like, whatever, you know?
Because this episode, who was taking care of Diana? Ruby. Who was up there cooking in the kitchen? Ruby. Who was the one that had to give Letty a home when she came home? Once again, Ruby. You know, she's always the one doing. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, hey, again. And she was speaking truth to Letty. She was like, Christina saved your ass, right? Christina is protecting you and your child, and she didn't have to do either one. Check. You know what I'm saying? So Ruby didn't do anything to us. And Montrose almost killed you. And she's like, well, Tick stabbed up. Like, just think about what you're talking about right now. Like, it's like, I mean, so from Ruby's perspective, I was like, I totally get where Ruby's going with this. I mean, this being personal, but we got to see how it turns out.
I did like that moment in the beginning, though, where like they're all pointing fingers at, like, who's at fault because of that. And the funny thing is, they all are at fault. It was all their faults.
Yeah.
Montrose, Tick, Liddy, Ruby, it was all their fault. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, y'all the reason why she's like this. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? I know y'all got
Ruby was the only one that said, you know, it's all our fault. So I ride with Ruby.
That's right. We're Team Ruby and Christina.
You don't get to say I screwed up while you continue to stab someone. But like, hey, it's me, that's the murder. I killed you, and I'm still you don't get to do that. You don't get to just get a pass just because you admit that you're wrong. You still continue to do wrong.
But everybody was doing wrong.
What is she doing wrong?
Yeah.
She messing with Christine. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man. Hey, but you know how everybody
that amulet thing was smart though. That amulet thing for Lancaster.
Yeah.
That was pretty smart, you know.
I know what that was, and I don't know why he took it.
Huh?
I don't get the amulet thing. The Christina went to William.
No, that was to reverse the regenerate. So for the officer himself, you know, obviously when he gets shot or whatever, it's his way of cheating the whole immortality thing by harvesting bodies of, in this case, black men or whatever, and to heal himself. So that, you know, so like, for example, we obviously saw the slow go, like rip him to shreds or whatnot.
Yeah.
Saved him again by putting a new body in there. But little did they know that, and which episode? What was Ruby's episode where Christina told her to be as a maid and go into his office and slip that thing in? That's what she was doing. Because Christina knew what he was going to do. And she wanted him to feel the same pain as he did when he killed her boyfriend, William. You know what I mean? But like, you know, so I was like, all right, that's awesome. I was like, that's legit. Okay. You know,
I didn't see that. All right, I was wondering what she took,
and that's why he took it out and he showed it in his face and it was like, he's like, please. They're like, nope. It was like, I want you to experience like the same shit that I had to deal with, like every time I transform into the man that I loved. You know what I mean? Like, damn. I was like,
I'm using his body to love another woman. And like they're
no, I mean, I think that's part of really what it, I mean, as you saw, he does other stuff other than just screw Ruby, believe it or not.
But I'm saying, but it's on the list. Okay, like I mean, like let's not. I mean, it's part of the process, man.
It's on a list, but okay, again, it's not the main thing. The only way for her and William to like get up in stature in order to get the respect is for her to pose as a man. That's the true intent. along the way, Ruby came along as well. I get, you know what I mean? So
she said that. She said I had a plan, and you were not part of the plan, but you are now. Like
yeah,
she's trying.
sure.
I get that, man. But I'm saying when Ruby wants it, she has to become William. She's not ready for like the actual real relationship. Is all I'm saying. Like she's still not. When she's
Yeah,
like,
no, I think she just. I mean, for Ruby, she only does that when we just like kind of calm Ruby down. Really, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's like everything is always has a price with Christina.
yeah.
Everything always, and it's more than just a little bit of sex. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, Tick, I need you to come with me for this.
Well, she's gonna kill her son, her brother-in-law at some point. Because shit happens. But I mean, it is. But she had a process. She's like, I didn't think I was gonna fall in love in this process, but I did. But I still got a process, right? I got to do for me and do for us. Like I think Ruby's like, then once she comes up, then she'll come up, and they'll come up together. Like maybe he'll be like, maybe Christina will be permanently William, and then like Ruby will be permanently a white woman with red hair, and maybe that's the game plan. Until
now the fact she tried to do the Emmett Till thing and she came out laughing and whatnot. I mean, she don't have no real interest. No, bullshit. Nope. So, like she, if anything, it was just her trying to see what it's like to be mortal or like a black person or whatnot, and she found it real quick that nah, like I'm not. I'm just this white girl. Granted, like I still feel like I'm low on the totem pole because I'm a woman. You know what I mean? But there are people still, in a way, like she even said, if you remember, was it the second episode? She said, "No, we're not KKK. KKK is cheap or something like they're broke.
They're poor. Something to like they're poor.
Yeah.
They're beneath us."
She sees like everyone else as inferior. So come on now, Ruby. No, that's an act she's playing. That's an act. That's an act, and I don't know. I feel like who knows? Maybe something's going to happen. Christine and Ruby's like, no, remember what we had. Still playing with Ruby's head. Still playing with her. Ruby feels like she is in love, and that's what sucks about both of these girls. Both Ruby and Letitia, they're all in love with a man that don't really love them back. Like you saw how. Let me talk about the elephant in the room. The whole like we should name him George thing. Couple of things went on in that, right? I know most people thought like, oh, that was a tender moment. That's when they kind of acknowledged that they're pregnant, she's pregnant and whatnot. I looked at it slightly different. I was like, damn, he went kind of cold, like, oh, okay, George. And then he just kind of went away. I'm like, you would never do that with Gia. You know what I mean? That type of shit. Same time, I'm looking at it like, Letty, how you say we should name him George after you just look at the timing of when she said that, right? Not George. Young Montrose is getting his ass whooped with a switch, and he runs off. Literally, you watch a Montrose run off like crying, and she's like, "Yeah, we should name him George." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like,
that's how you took it.
All right, I'm exaggerating the way she said it, but it was just like, I was like, we should name him George after you watching Montrose getting his ass whooped and watching George not doing a damn thing. He's like, yeah, we should name him George. Like, the timing of it for me was just like they could have moved that maybe a different, not when George is watching Montrose run off. Just that I didn't like that. The timing of it just was not.
That's what irritated you.
No, not really irritating, but I just thought it was hilarious. I just thought it was.
You put it. I did not see.
No, I just found it hilarious. No, it's not irritating. I thought it was just funny. I was like, damn. I was like, that's a slight.
I took it as she heard the conversation that like George is probably your daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when they're like, we're separated, when they looked at they're like, we don't know how this is going to turn out, but I know you're going to be fine. Like, we both know like why you got the protection spell. She's like, we'll name him George. Like at some point she was like, I'm acknowledging what we ain't talking about, which is, yeah, I'm pregnant. George is probably your real daddy. So we'll name the baby after your real daddy, which is how, got the name George. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
I think she kind of acknowledged that Tick probably will die and he wouldn't be there to name the baby.
Yeah.
So she's like, hey, I'm going to name him George.
Yeah, also true, because they didn't even talk about the sex. This conversation implies that both of them already know they'll have talked about you're having a boy. Then not only are you pregnant, but we both know you're going to have a boy. And neither one of them is asking the other. Well, she's not asking him, how do you know all this? And he's not asking, how do you know that I know all this? We're just just going with it.
He should have actually done that to her because obviously she knows because of Montrose. But but yeah, no, but
I didn't with the switch thing. Like I saw myself in that because like I remember the day my mom was like, "I'm gonna get a switch," and she went out to a tree and got a limb and beat me with it, and I was like, "This is not okay." But it was to me it's sad that we talked about this in the first episode, right? That like Tick is a product of generational abuse, right? Like Montrose beat him, his dad beat Montrose, and it's just
He's gonna beat George.
And George, no, he beat George too. Not
as baby George. Is baby George gonna get beat?
And that's one.
I guess he'll be dead though.
Yeah, he'll be dead by then, so he'll be all right. Like the cycle will be broken because Tick will be dead. But if Tick wasn't dead, he probably would beat he'll probably beat George because that's all he knows. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a reaction. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, maybe it's just I don't know. I grew up as a black man, so I'm like, I think it's just in our like community. Like that's what we do. Like we beat our kids. I mean, it's like a lot of people. I know a lot of black parents all over Facebook. They wouldn't be doing this. They just get a switch on them. Like that would fix this whole problem. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like you can't just beat your kids right. You can't beat your kids straight. You can and no one gave a shit. Like he was beating Montrose in front of the community. The neighbor didn't give a shit. The mother walking by didn't give a shit. They were just like, just don't beat my kid. And it was just accepted. And I'm like, that's not okay. Like that made Montrose who he is, you know what I'm saying? And that made Tick who he is, and I'm like, why is that not being like addressed at all? And
it was addressed. Remember, Tick like was talking about like I forgave my mom and George and Uncle George for just watching, and he remember what he said in the first episode. It's like he's like, you just watched my dad just do this. You didn't do anything. And George like was crying, was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have just stayed. You know what I mean? So it addresses what I think it was more deeper than just that. It addresses what you just see in today's community, like period. Like someone punishing, like disciplining their child, and the whole idea of you not necessarily not wanting to overstep your bounds. Like obviously it's a new generation. It's a different. So people now it's a little bit different. Like, hey, crack a window for your dog. He's hot. You know what I mean? That type of shit. So that's where we're at now, right? But like, but back then it was just more of like, oh shit, all right, we need to mind our own business type deal. Like, you know what I mean? Which no, it's not. No one's saying it's right. You know what I mean? Obviously a lot of us got spankings and whatnot. To that level, definitely not. I felt like spankings did me good. You know what I mean? That what happened to Montrose and Tick, definitely not. So it's just more. So I think it just speaks more to like the community actually saying something when they notice something is like maybe overblown. Like, you know what I mean? Like okay, he wore the jacket and he put a flower in his head, and damn, like that really, like,
well, they don't know all that. All they see him is getting his butt whooped, and no one is even asking why. They're just like, I mean, when Dora's dad came out, he was just like, you ain't gonna hurt my kid. Like, you can beat your own kid like all you want, but you ain't hit my kid. And I'm like, it's just not okay, and that hasn't changed with us. Like, I mean, I think overall, I think black people are still like that. They still like, and then the whole thing about beating my kids straight. Like, I remember when Kevin Hart did that same joke when he was like, I don't want my kid, and he got in trouble for this, but he was like, if I can be honest, I don't want my son to grow up gay. And if I see him doing something gay, I'm gonna hit him and knock him down and tell him stop being gay. And I'm like, that's how common it is that people joke about that shit. And I'm like, and that's not just the 1950s, like that's our 1921, like that's now. And it's just like, and it's not really I don't think it's not cool. That's not even being fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people may say, well, that was back in the day. No, that's I'll bet and be sure kids are still going through that. And like I said, the probably only reason George is not going to be beat because Tick, sad to say, is probably going to die, at least for a little bit. I think G is going to come back and save the day. I think he's going to be all right.
Resurrect.
Yep. She got a lot more bodies, man. She got a lot more bodies. You know what I'm saying, so I think she's gonna come back and save this ungrateful man, and be like, I love you despite how you treated me.
Yeah, what you think about just the emotional impact? Like, it's funny. I was talking about in the last episode how the whole thing with Emmett Till, damn, that's like every episode. Who would ever thought that you could even top it even with Emmett Till? Like for me, the big thing was like doing that episode with him as a backdrop. And like, you know, I'm familiar with the Tulsa massacre in the sense, like, you know, I know, like, yeah, I know, unfortunately, a lot of schools don't talk about that. I mean, that needs to change. But I remember when, I think we talked about this before, but when the Watchmen, when they did that as the backdrop in the very first episode, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, it was different in the sense of, yes, it was depressing, but just like it kind of gave you like a first person view of this from the kid's point of view of what he had to go through or whatnot, and then it led through this anger that he just had for white people when he got much older. That when I heard like I mean, obviously, so in the book, obviously, yes, it's also the Tulsa massacre and whatnot. But when I heard that they were going to do the Tulsa in this, I'm like, okay, HBO, just a year after them doing Watchmen and doing Tulsa, like, they make this, like, this is probably going to be corny. And I got to say, I was surprised. Not only did it was far from it being corny, it was very, very emotional. If you didn't feel some type of way about that scene, like those scenes where you hear those gunshots and you hear like, you see those, you know, especially like the guy, like, especially, oh man, especially the dude who just like laughed at Tom's face and like shot him after he said those horrific words to him while Montrose, and then older Montrose dropped to his knees or whatnot. And you just heard like the family crying downstairs as the fire, like, as they like light the house on fire. And even Dora's younger, like her sister saying like, we never made up. Like, yeah, we're going to be fine. But like, damn, like, and she has a crush for George. You know, should I say something? And Letty's just sitting, like, knowing that she will never tell her sister really how she feels, and she'll never like make right whatever argument they had. It was something I was just like, wow. I was like, you know what, man? HBO, man, y'all some sons of bitches right now. Like y'all really trying to just steal all Emmys. Like y'all trying to get all the Globes and whatnot. Like, and y'all doing a damn good job. Cause I like, you saw Watchmen took a bunch of them one night. We're going to see something like that again. I predict. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was incredible. I thought what they did was incredible. The whole thing with the grandmother one night and her seeing the shoes. Like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. What's up with these shoes? Like, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, you shouldn't be here. Who are you? You know what I mean? I thought that was pretty slick. I thought that was awesome. You know what I mean?
I know shoes. Those,
huh?
I said, she's like, I know shoes, and those ain't shoes these days. It was amazing how all of a sudden they found clothes that fit them. I was like,
that was you.
Huh?
That was you.
I know, right? I'm like, you in 1921. They're like, this is go across the street. We're not gonna show them how they did it, but find out how they found tailor-made clothes that were like perfect. I was like, how the what? Well, anyway, apparently not the shoes though. Attention to detail.
Yeah, she's gonna find shoes. Not to mention she attracts them, so she probably like, damn, these heels don't feel comfortable. It's like, man, I'll just wear my sneakers.
She knew she was gonna have to run, so she kept the shoes.
Yeah, she knew.
She's gonna need some comfortable shoes because I was like that.
Just in case there's gonna be some fire coming after me.
There might be some sprinting involved in this, and I was like, I was like, wow, like she was moving, bro. I was like, that was awesome, and then her slow walk was dramatic, but like a bit too long. Like to me, I was like, we need to speed up. Like Diana got some issues going on. I'm like, why are you taking so damn long? Like let's get this thing going. But I don't know so much for effect. But at some point, I was like,
no, you're right. It's funny. It's funny because in the beginning, it seemed like Tick was really the only one that was really all about time and whatnot. It's like we don't. It's like we can't be in both locations at once. Like it'll take 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
So everyone had a time limit, and I get, you know, it's funny because I was like, damn, like Hippolyta right now, she's like foaming out the mouth right now. Her eyes go back, like hurry the hell up. At the same time, from Letty's point of view, I get it. Like she's never experienced anything like this. She's never like up until now, she only heard stories of Tulsa and whatnot, and she's so engulfed in what's going on, and she's seeing the family who she's like, I could have saved them, but no, I need to make this right or whatnot. That she's too into it. So I was conflicted because I was just like Tick was like, where the hell's Letty? Where's Letty at? Letty ain't come through? Like, where's she at? And I was like, yeah, Letty, where are you at? But at the same time, I'm like, I get it, Letty. Like you're fucked up. You know, and this is what's happening. I understand, but Hippolyta.
Bro, we are on the clock. So that's my basic problem with any time travel story. Time travel alone says time means nothing because we can move faster in it, right? So you're not on a clock because you're time traveling. Like you got all the time in the world. Hippolyta was gone for 200 years and she just got time just about, I'm like, so obviously time is relative. So I'm like, why is it taking so long? And from Hippolyta's point of view, for them to get back, it should have been instant from her point of view. Because like
maybe it was.
She's in another dimension though. Yeah. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But she's not back there. She's present time. So she's dealing with stuff present time. They're dealing with stuff past time.
Yeah. So I'm like, so time travel's relative where in the basic, like I'll say the Back to the Future perspective, like you can leave and come at the same time as far as present's concerned. Same thing happened with Endgame. Like he said to us, it's gonna be like 30 seconds. Like they can be gone forever, but you can return, you can fix the turn. If they were like, this is a time portal and we're all existing in the same timeline. So what if you're there for 3 days, I'm standing here for 3 days. Like that, it's just a portal, it's not time travel. It's more like a portal to another time. It's supposed to like, we'll leave at 5 o'clock and you'll be back by 5 o'clock. Like I just thought, I was like we gotta hurry up. And I was like, but you're time traveling, right? So it shouldn't be that much. But anyway, I thought she was taking too damn long.
In the sense of like in a DeLorean where you type in the time or whatever, they had to go base it off of a moment in time by a picture. You know what I mean? Like that. It's it didn't work. It's not, that machine doesn't work the same way as like a phone booth and Bill and Ted necessarily.
You can go to the phone booth and Bill and Ted, man. I mean, they have to do.
Well, okay, you said Back to the Future. It was like
I'm just saying all these stories. Even then, they were like, they act like they're on a time clock. Like in Infinity War, they're like, we got to get back. We got time. Like you're time travel fucker. Like you got nothing but time. That's the one thing you got is time. But anyway, I get you. So Stacey, what thoughts?
You're ruining the cinematic suspense part, David, by being logical. You're supposed to suspend logic and just go with the suspense.
It was beautiful.
Letty was on her own time. The slow walk was suspenseful. Okay. Hippolyta doing her thing, suspense.
Was awesome.
Yeah, I had to, even though like it was there, I had to suspend the whole thing about the bat and the whole chicken and the egg thing. So I was like, nope, they all do it. Just let it go.
Let it happen. Just let it happen. Let it happen. And I'm saying, since this was a true historic event, I'm sure somebody, maybe some KKK member who wanted to remember their time killing all these people, has a picture of this woman walking through bombs and just walking peacefully down the street. Somebody has that footage. Like, and I'm like, it would be interesting. It would be interesting if that comes up in the museum. Like, I mean, like some deep, like maybe in the last scene, they find some random ass racist that was somehow in Tulsa, and they were like, oh shit, like they find the footage. Like, but somebody saw that and somebody got to capture that at some point. But it was awesome.
Well, if you look at like in actuality, as far as the pictures that really do exist, most of it's just the aftermath. So it's like actors started burning because there's so much chaos that whether you're black or white, if you're caught out there, like you ain't gonna have no time to take no damn pictures. There was
it's not like now where people are in shootings and they're recording and they're live streaming to Facebook. Like, why are you still recording?
And not only that, like the U.S. Army or whatever, they came through, and what you saw with those planes dropping those bombs, that really happened. So
it really happened.
Literally, you can't just. There was no one, especially for one, there's not that many people that had cameras. So if you did have a camera, which would be big for one, you're not going to be doing it real time, which is why I don't think, if I remember correctly, there isn't any pictures of real time of people running away during Tulsa. It only stuff burning.
All right.
And like dead bodies.
On the passes.
You know what I mean?
All right. Fine. At least the story. Somebody told that damn story. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, they probably thought their granddaddy was crazy when he was telling
okay. All right. I'm saying at least the story of the woman walking.
Story of a girl walking out of fire.
Yes. Yeah. After planes dropping bombs on her, she's still moving. I was like, wow, that's pretty. That's an awesome legend of a story. It would have been interesting if somehow they tied it to The Watchmen. That would have been interesting. That would be interesting. I mean, it's like yeah. I'm not saying you seen like the character run across. I'm saying, but I don't know. I was like,
for one, you I don't even see like even the people I knew that are watching Lovecraft Country. Not all of them even watched Watchmen to begin with, and those who did, like for example, I remember the Tulsa thing or whatever, but like I don't know if I would necessarily even connect the two necessarily unless you make it really obvious. And if you make it that obvious, then that's when it gets really corny. You know what I mean? So, it's no. I mean, they already did the thing about the book, Lovecraft Country, the book. Like, I mean, we don't need to do the whole.
If that's not fine.
And then you got to pay Warner. That's the thing too. You would have to pay another company, even though it's HBO. You would have to also pay Warner Brothers because that's their property. It's like, oh, you did a Watchmen reference. Give us some money, HBO. Give us more money. We thought we were done. You said 2019 we were done. We were done, and then you did Lovecraft Country. You put us in there again. More money for the whole season, all 10 episodes. But you only win. No, all 10.
Okay, I get it. It was too much.
I don't know. I mean, no, because the thing is, see, the problem you run into then too is if you do through a Watchmen reference doing a Tulsa thing, then you minimize how important the Tulsa massacre is then too. Because that's the thing. People who even watched the Watchmen show, and saw that thing and thought that was fiction. Tulsa massacre was fiction. So if you put that in here, then you're reinforcing what some people already thought already. Like, you know what I mean? But if you make it his own, I don't like that. I don't just do your own thing. You know what I mean? Have people do their own research and don't distract people by trying to throw in a crossover in the midst of something like the Tulsa massacre, which a lot of people don't even know about to begin with. You know what I mean? So why do that in the midst of something, as we said, has been forgotten, unfortunately?
Well, now you're riding it twice. It's fine, Chris. Shit, I get it. Like, you don't think it's a good idea? I got it. All right, but I'm saying it could have been done. Anyway,
I'm just glad they didn't.
All right. Anything else or predictions for next week's episode?
Never mind.
It's gonna die and resurrect at some point.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe Ruby will come to terms with her love for Christina / William.
Or just Christina. She's like, you know what? Like this is my woman. And I was like,
you're waiting for that scene.
I'm just waiting for them to. I don't think acknowledge it. I'm just waiting for her to acknowledge it. Even now, she's like, if I was a woman, I'd be why would I still be a redhead? Like, she still does not want to be herself. Like, she's still like, she's not happy in her own skin. I'm like, I would like for her to be happy in her own skin and be happy with the fact of the woman she cares about in her own skin. That's all I'm saying. Just truth.
Yeah. Yo, you broke the curse again. There's no sex scene. There was no sex scene in this.
What?
Yes. There was no crazy sex scene that you kept talking about in previous episodes.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It would not have been appropriate in this episode, but all right, I will give you that. It was also like that's.
The Emmett Till one they had Ruby like transforming into white to black and skin going apart as she's riding William. I mean, like was that appropriate necessarily?
I'm saying there's plenty of after funeral sex scenes. Like that's a thing. Like I've seen plenty of things where how for some reason murder or death makes people want to have sex. Like that's pretty common. I mean, if it was like,
huh? Oh, back. Okay. No, you froze a little bit. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So I mean, I was like, he's like, what happened? But yes, to your point, there was no unnecessary nudity or sex in the scene. And that's awesome. They could have cut so to this point to make it appropriate. Montrose and Thomas could have got caught, kissing or whatever, and that could have led to his dad beating the shit out of him. And then at the least, and that would have been something to be like, oh, shit, like that. They could have put that in there, and it would have worked. I think.
I thought it worked better in the sense that it was so minimal to show how bad. I mean, not really. I shouldn't use the word bad, but how abusive this father was. That something as simple as just putting something in his head will set him off. You know what I mean? Because I hate to say it, but two young boys together, I hate to say it. I know there will be a lot of fathers that would take it out on, be like if they caught, you know what I mean? So in a way, you would kind of minimize how the abusiveness, in my opinion, of this particular black man from what other black men would possibly be you know, if you didn't just do it as minimum as just that. I know you don't agree. I'm just saying, you know, at least for me, as far as what I see, unfortunately, you know, I mean, it's just.
But I think that would make it even worse because just because many black fathers would do it does not make it right. It makes it worse.
No, but again, they're trying to showcase
how bad it was,
how horrific this guy was.
He was still at a certain point.
I'm saying, but then you would make him more of the norm, and what they're trying to do is to show that he was not just being a norm. He was more ruthless than that.
Or the norm shouldn't be the norm.
I understand that. Their point right here wasn't trying to be the norm. It was to show how horrible he was. Is the point.
All right.
You want the show to be something different, man. It ain't, you know, they
I want the show to be fucking real. I mean, I want it to be realistic, Chris. If you're saying that
it's realistic,
that somehow beating your kids for kissing another boy,
watching a show with monsters and people transforming into other things, and you want it to be realistic, like, come on.
Of the Texas and stuff, you know, all time travel, blue hair, you know,
monsters.
YouTube really gonna put those
black hair.
No,
white man bodies. Like, what are we doing, David?
I'm saying if this man is gay and he's getting his ass whooped for being gay, you know what I'm saying? They could have been like, hey, and he got Thomas. If he got his ass whooped for kissing Thomas, and then you see Thomas get his head blown off later, that makes it a story. He's like, hey, like I'm saying that would have been a better story for me.
Yes, I don't know, that's a better story. I mean, that's just I mean, the simple fact was they're trying to showcase how ruthless.
You still could do that, but for somehow you're saying it's common. They wouldn't have been ruthless. It would have been common.
I'm not saying this. No, I'm just saying
what he's trying to say is, for most people, realistically, to see their son in that situation, the anger level in their mind would justify that action.
Yeah.
But beating your kid for a flower is like, oh, that's too much.
That's too much. That's what I was trying to say, and that's what.
And they're trying to say, okay, he goes off for the littlest things. Even today, and I'm not saying it's right, but people would justify him beating Montrose for him having a relationship with another boy. People would see that as just
not right. And you're right.
I mean, it's right, but they would say, "Oh yeah,
but yeah,
I understand."
All right.
But the flower thing is overboard.
Doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
All right. So, any predictions for next week, Chris?
I can't give a prediction because I have a feeling I have a prediction, but I'm gonna keep it here because from the preview I looked at, like the book. Okay, so no, I'm good.
Okay. So you feel this would be more like a book spoiler at this point?
Kinda.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What would you say?
How about the officer in Lancaster? So I was kind of surprised that he died in this episode.
Oh, he had a part to play later on.
Yeah, so I was a little surprised. I was like, "Oh, okay, is he dead there?" I was thinking, what is he just want him to suffer a little bit? So, but they showed other stuff in the preview. And I'm like, okay, so I just leave it.
Does anybody have any non-book thoughts on what the last secret is? Tick, you hear Tick's voice saying, "Please forgive me for this last secret." Is it?
No, it would be book related. So no.
Okay. So still book related. All right. So as I said, I think somehow Tick's gonna die. He has to. I mean, that was the vision. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be all right. But I just want Gia to come back.
I'll be possessed by my Uncle George. So, you know, what if they did that? What if maybe one small thing they did change? Because remember, Letty did, and she kicked herself when she accidentally revealed it. When they said, "Hey, how many more men are there?" Whatnot. What if one man kind of came out and whatnot, and he survived, and that changed the whole thing where it led to George living in the. I don't know. No, George is still dead. I tell you that.
Through all that to go. Nah, George's still dead. We're just
can't get over that George is dead. I'm sorry. I still can't get over that shit. I was like,
well, somebody comes. He sees. So Tick does see someone in some kind of vision. You don't see a shadow.
I just knew in this episode the episode was going to end with I just knew. Well, just like Tick did. I just thought that Montrose was going to save George's life, and I was like, okay, here we go. Fine. Now they're getting back on track. And I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, Tom. I was like, who the hell's Thomas? Thomas. You know what I mean? But it was cool. I'm cool with what HBO is doing, man. HBO is they going there, and I'm all right with it too. So go ahead.
All right, so we're all happy where the HBO's going. We got to see what happens next week. Who lives, who dies, what relationships move forward? Will some relationships end because of decisions made? But we'll be here either way. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on the video. Share the video. Let us know why you still watch us, why you still watch Lovecraft Country. What do you want to see next season? Do you want it? Do you want it to be another season? Do you feel that would be a better story? Do you feel like it would cheapen the story? You know that it should be one season. Some people feel that way. Just let us know what you think, and we will either way. We'll see you again next week.